Welcome to my living room. This is Living Room by Happy Rebel. And this is where I will tell all my stories from all my years of being a leader and a manager. So Happy Rebel was born from my search of modern, ID-led, curious, open, transparent, brave leadership. And this all started back in 2011. I was recruited by one of the world's most famous brands, and I promise you, you have a lot of stuff from this company in your home, okay? I was recruited to produce the world's largest communication asset. I was to print a catalog in 220 million copies. And I actually thought when I took the job, my thought was, and this is a true story, how hard can it be? And let me tell you, it was fucking hard. So all the ins and outs of what I learned from my years as a leader and a manager for this big creative team, I will share, stories that break the mold. I will tell it all. And, Happy Rebel was born because when I was a manager, I also got the opportunity to go to this leadership program, okay? And I was a new manager, so I didn't really know what to expect. But I am thinking about that leadership training as a life savior. Because what I did was actually go to the module of the program and then, go back home to work and really test and try the methods, the theories, the mindset skills that I learned in this program. So, when I was done with that program, I said to the company that was leading this program that if you ever need a testimonial, someone that really, found a way to use what I learned and to go out to reality and test it and try it, you just call me and I will show up and tell my story. And it didn't take too long and they called me, of course, because as they said, I was their happiest client ever. I was so thankful that I got the opportunity to practice my leadership, because this is a secret that I will tell you and that I will teach and preach in this living room, is that you are not born a leader. Listen to that. You are not born a leader. It's a myth. Leadership is something that you learn. And in this space, in this living room, I will teach and preach for you to become a better leader. So what happened was, this company came back and said, do you want to come join us? Do you want to make a talk about leadership? And at the same time, of course, in this big furniture company, with the big catalog, they were also watching me, seeing my leadership grow, right? So at the same time, I got the opportunity to test and try stuff inside of that company, and I grew as a leader. And at the same time, I went outside of the big furniture company, and I was talking and I was teaching leadership. And 2015, my company, Happy Rebel, was born. So for all those years, I did Happy Rebel alongside with my work as a manager and as a leader. So I was taking real events, real dilemmas, bringing them into my teaching, into my mentorship, into my coaching. And then I took all the stories of all the leaders that I met and I brought them back to my job as a manager, as a leader. And I guess these two ways of building leadership, training leadership, coaching leadership, teaching, preaching, talking about leadership just went into my space that I call Happy Rebel. And it's also how I became the CEO of my own vision. And in 2023, I decided to take a leap, to leave the big furniture company and to become my own manager, to lead my own vision and to start to really work in creative freedom. So what I want to do is I want to question traditional leadership. And in this space, I want us to have real conversation about real dilemmas. So I will not make anything up. I will use the ins and outs of my own mistakes and whatever I'm teaching, and of course the stories of hundreds of leaders that I met. I will also tell my personal stories. I will tell stories that will break the mold. I will spill it all, okay? Of course, I will also teach and preach and talk about and show you tactics and strategies that you can use to show up professionally and personally in your own life as a leader and a human, because we lead ourselves and sometimes we lead others, and it's only up to you if you're here, if you're just leading yourself or sometimes you lead others. I guess leadership is the same. To start this series off, I will give you 25 stories from 25 years of leadership, of global leadership, and we will explore silence versus voice. If you are a leader, you have experienced what it feels like to lose your voice as a leader, and I think this is a very interesting topic, and I want us to really dive into it, because I for sure lost my voice. I lost my voice so hard I even got a disease in my throat. I want us to talk about performance versus presence, because I thought for a long time that I was present at work, and at the same time I got a lot of feedback from my coworkers that, they didn't think that I was present, and I was crying and I was struggling and I couldn't understand what they meant, because I was working all the time. But of course I was performing or trying to perform, but I was not present. And I will tell you the story how I did to gain back trust from being a very non-present manager and leader. And then we want to go into my all-time favorite topic, the topic about courage versus comfort. Choosing courage over comfort when it's so easy to choose comfort and it's so uncomfortable to choose courage. But the thing is, you hear a lot of people talking about quantum leaping, making millions of dollars, getting, the fancy job, meeting the perfect partner, and I guess all of what we are calling quantum leaping is actually just staying in the uncomfortable, doing stuff we didn't do before, challenging the truths that we are carrying, being vulnerable, making mistakes. And I don't mean cute mistakes, I mean also the ugly mistakes. I want us to go into being leaders, choosing courage, because I really, really believe that the world needs more brave leaders. And if there is one thing that I want Happy Rebel to contribute to this world, it is supporting or helping brave leaders come to life in this world, because I think that will make this world a better place. So if I can only support one leader to become brave and make brave choices, then I'm happy. We will look into what happens when you reframe your leadership and you stop hiding and you stop blaming yourself, but you also stop blaming others. What will happen when you go into the limelight, stop the passive, leadership where you're always waiting for someone else to start. You take the word, you hear your voice, you show up even though nothing is perfect. That's what Happy Rebel is about. That's what this series is about. I'm inviting you to listen to my story. I'm inviting you to share yours. And I'm so fucking happy I'm doing this. This is Alex. This is my living room. And I'm so happy you're here.